Hello and good morning to Miss Flo and my fellow COSMED. Today our group will present on our project for Philosophy, History and Policy in Education subject for assignment 2. This project will presented by 4 members in this group, which is Shafi Shazali Munir, Rachel binti Harbin, Vivi Angeli Awok and Nur Shafika Natasha binti Baharudin. Let's start with the project overview. This project aims to analyze and evaluate the strengths and limitations of different philosophies studied in the early childhood education and education context. By examining various educational philosophies, we can gain insights into their effectiveness, relevance, and applicability in promoting optimal learning and development in young children.
What is philosophy? Philosophy or philosophia, as it is in Greek, means love of wisdom, and it is the systemized study of general and fundamental questions, such as those concerning existence, reason, knowledge, values, mind, and language. Some sources claim that the term was coined by Pythagoras, although this theory is disputed by some. Philosophical method, including questioning, critical discussion, rational argument, and systematic presentation. In education, philosophy is the branch of applied philosophy that investigates the nature of education as well as its aims and problems. It includes the examination of educational theories, the presuppositions present in them, and arguments for and against them. It is an interdisciplinary field that draws inspiration from various disciplines, both within and outside philosophy, like ethics, political philosophy, psychology, and sociology. Today, we will discuss 6 main educational philosophies, which is perennialism, essentialism, behaviorism, progressivism, reconstructionism, and existentialism.
We'll start with progressivism. Progressivism in education is an educational philosophy that emphasizes student-centered learning, active participation and real-world experiences to foster critical thinking, problem solving, and social skills. We'll discuss about the strengths and limitations for progressivism. One of the strengths for progressivism is it focuses on the individual and their interests, which is students' interests. Progressivism in education recognizes that each student is unique and has their own interests, strengths, and learning styles in the classroom. It emphasizes tailoring education to meet the needs and the interests of individual students. This approach recognizes that students are more engaged and motivated when they can connect their learning to their own lives and interests. Other than that, it also encourages creativity and problem solving because it encourages students to think critically, solve problems, and develop creative solutions. It values the ability to think independently, ask questions, and explore different perspectives. By emphasizing creativity and problem solving, progressivism fosters the development of important skills that are valuable beyond the classroom, such as adaptability, innovation, and resourcefulness. Besides, progressivism can promote active learning because progressivism emphasizes active learning over passive absorption of information. It encourages students to actively participate in their own learning process through hands-on activities, experiential learning, and exploration. This approach recognizes that students learn best when they are actively engaged and involved in the learning process, rather than being a passive recipient of information. And for the last strength is it can provide opportunities for students to work together in the classroom. Progressivism values collaboration and social interaction in the learning environment. It also provides opportunities for students to work together on group projects, discussion, or cooperative learning activities. By working collaboratively, students develop important interpersonal skills such as communication, teamwork, and empathy. It also prepares them for real-world situations where collaboration and teamwork are essential. There are limitations over the strengths in progressivism. One of the limitations is assessing student progress in progressive education system can be challenging due to emphasis on individualized learning and diverse approaches. Because traditional metrics may not adequately capture the breadth of skills and knowledge acquired by students. Other than that, progressivism may not suit all learners or students, as it relies heavily on self-direction, collaboration, and critical thinking skills. Some students may require more structured and directive instruction to thrive academically. Last but not least, implementing progressivism in the classroom is often demands a significant time and resources. It is developing individualized learning plans, providing ongoing support, and facilitating project-based learning can be costly and time-consuming. It also potentially posing challenges for schools with limited budgets and for the teacher itself. Here's the simple example on how progressivism can be applied in a classroom setting. The teacher may start the lesson by asking students about their personal experiences with ecosystem or any question they may have. By taking into account their individual interests, the teacher can tailor the lesson to address specific students' inquiries or incorporate examples that resonate with their experiences.
We're back again. So, I will talk about Reconstructionism. Reconstructionism in education advocates for social change and restructuring of society through education. It emphasized addressing social inequalities, fostering critical consciousness, and preparing students to actively participate in creating a more just and equitable world. This philosophy has its own strength. Firstly, it aims to create a more just and equitable society. Next, it encourages students to think critically about social issues, and it also promotes social action. Although it has its own strength, it also had its own limitation. Firstly, it can be controversial. Next, it could be difficult to implement in a school setting. And last but not least, it can be time consuming and quite expensive. The application of this philosophy could be seen on the SKP English Form 1 on page 7, which is one student to focus on investigate the world, being aware, curious, and interested in learning about the world and how it works. Then, communicate ideas to diverse audience on various topics through different mediums and rapidly emerging technologies, and become global players by taking responsibility for their action and weighing the consequences. This is one of the focus on SBELC number 3, which is acquiring global competency.
Okay, I will explain about perennialism. The definition of perennialism is education emphasizes the enduring and timeless aspect of knowledge, focusing on universal truths, classical literature, and philosophical ideas Its aim to cultivate critical thinking, intellectual development, and character formation in students. Okay, how to apply perennialism in classroom is, firstly, emphasize core subjects. Perennialism places great importance on core subjects such as mathematics, science, history, and literature. Design your curriculum to focus on this subject and ensure that students gain a deep understanding of fundamental concepts and principles. And secondly, teach through great works. Perennialism believes in the value of teaching through great work of literature, philosophy, and art that have stood the test of time. Incorporate classic texts and important historical documents into your lesson to expose students in fundamental ideas and promote critical thinking. Third, focus on critical thinking. Perennialism encourage students to develop their critical thinking skill, create opportunities for students to engage in analysis, evaluation, and synthesis of information. Encourage them to ask questions, explore multiple perspectives, and think deeply about the subject they are studying. And last is promote moral and ethical development. Perennialism places emphasis on the moral and ethical development of students. Encourage discussion and debates on ethical issues and guide students to think about the values and principles that underlie their different viewpoints. Help them develop a sense of practical, personal integrity and responsibility. Okay, the strengths for the perennialism is, first, emphasize on enduring knowledge, encourage students to engage in critical thinking and analyze, focus on moral and ethical development. It promotes the study of classic works from various fields. And the limitation is, firstly, is lack of relevance to contemporary issue, limited diversity of perspective, and third is inflexibility in curriculum, overemphasis on theory over practice. Okay, next is essentialism. The definition of essentialism is education promotes a back to basic approach, emphasizing core knowledge and skills that are considered essential. It prioritizes academic subjects, traditional teaching methods, and a structured curriculum for transmitting cultural and society values. Okay, how to apply essentialism in classroom? First is identify core subject. Essentialism emphasizes the importance of core subjects such as language arts, mathematics, science, history, and physical education. Identify the essential knowledge and skill within each subject area and ensure they are covered in curriculum. Secondly, set clear learning objective. Clearly define the learning objective for each lesson or unit. Identify the essential concept, skill, and values that students should inquire and articulate this objective to your student. This helps provide a clear direction for teaching and learning. And third, use traditional teaching methods. Essentialism often relies on traditional teaching methods such as direct instruction and teacher-led activity. Provide clear explanation, give demonstration, and provide structured practice opportunities to help students master essential contents and skill. And lastly is focus on discipline and order. Essentialism places importance on discipline and order in the classroom. Establish and enforce clear rules and routines to create a structured learning environment. Teach students to respect authority, follow rules, and take responsibility for their action. Okay, next, the strength of essentialism is, first, focus on the transmission of timeless knowledge, promote critical thinking and problem solving, provides a strong foundation in the class. And the limitation is, first, can be seen as elitist, may not be relevant to the needs of all learners, and lastly is can be difficult to make engaging.
So the next philosophy is existentialism philosophy. So existentialism in education emphasizes individual freedom, responsibility, and the search for meaning in students' life. It promotes self-reflection, authentic experiences, and the development of personal values and purpose within the educational process. So the strength for this existentialism is it focuses on the individual learner and their unique experiences. It promotes self-discovery and personal growth, and also encourage students to make their own choices. Moving to the limitation for this philosophy, it can be difficult to assess student progress. Next, this philosophy may not be effective for all learners, and it also can be time-consuming and expensive to implement. So, for this existentialism activity, first one is role play, where teacher organize role-playing activity that simulate challenging life situation, where students can explore their responses and confront existential dilemmas. Second activity is project-based learning. Teacher can assign projects that require students to investigate and present on existentialist concept in real-world context. They can analyze the impact of existential ideas on various fields like art, psychology, or social activism. The third activity is personal reflection journal. Teacher can ask students to maintain a journal where they reflect on their own experiences, values, and choices. Teacher can also encourage the student to delve into their thought and emotion. So last but not least is behaviorism philosophy. Behaviorism in education focuses on observable behaviors and external stimuli. It emphasizes the use of reward and punishment to shape desired behaviors and ignores internal processes such as thoughts and emotions. The strength for this philosophy is, first, it focuses on observable behavior. Second, it promotes the use of measurable learning objective. And the third one is, it can be effective in teaching specific skills. The limitation for this philosophy is, first, it can be seen as mechanistic and dehumanizing. Second, this philosophy may not promote critical thinking or problem solving. Third, it can be difficult to apply to all subjects. So, an example for activities in classroom for this philosophy is classroom behavior contracts, where collaboratively create behavior contract with students that outline expectation, consequences, and reward based on behaviorist principle. Discuss the contract as a class and implement it for a specific period to encourage self-regulation. The second activity is design experiment, where students can observe and analyze the principle of operant conditioning. For example, train a mouse to press a lever for a reward and analyze the effect of reinforcement and punishment. So in conclusion, studying the 6 philosophies in education provides a comprehensive understanding of different approaches of teaching and learning. Each philosophy offers its own set of benefits and perspectives, contributing to a well-rounded educational system. Overall, exploring this philosophy can lead to the following benefit, which is, first is broaden perspective, where studying multiple educational philosophies allow educators to develop a broader perspective on education. They gain insight into diverse methods, beliefs, and values, enabling them to adapt their teaching approaches to meet the needs of a diverse student population. And the next benefit is flexibility and adaptability. Familiarity with various educational philosophy equips educators with the ability to be flexible and adaptable. They can draw upon different strategies and methods depending on the specific goals, subject matter, and the students they are working with.